is the Module 1 Part 2 slides. So this is the second part. So handling white space. HTML file documents are composed of text, characters, and white space. A white space character is any empty or blank character such as space, tabs, or a line break, so it's the same as any other language. But the white space rule still applies. The rule is still the same. Actually, it doesn't say. It says you can use white space to make your file easier to read by separating one code block from another, so I think the rule still applies. So you can view HTML files in a browser. So I think they did this in a tutorial, in the tutorial for the restaurant website. So you can basically use, like, they recommend Google Chrome or Firefox, and you can open up the developer settings and run the file through there, and it shows some more things. So it says you can open your web browser. You do not need to be connected to the internet to view local files stored on your computer, so it doesn't need to be running on the web to work on your computer in the browser. It says after your browser loads its home page, open the file. So it says that the different devices have the different, so it may look a bit different. The two different devices have different screen widths, which affect how the page is rendered. So it's showing that the phone versus the tablet versus the just those two are it's different. The website looks a bit different. One's a more vertical layout, where one's a more horizontal layout. Where the layout is horizontal on the phone because going down, it's more vertical because there's more space up to down rather than left to right, so the width is less than the length. Whereas the tablet has more width, so it adds instead of having a drop down of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different elements in the list, it has only 2. There's some settings you can change. You can just skip that. I don't really need to know that yet. Or you don't really need to memorize that. I can just say what it says. So it says to reduce the width of your browser window, and note that when the width falls below a certain value, in this case 480 pixels, the layout automatically changes to a standard row of images. So I explained what happened. But they're saying, now they're being a bit more specific with the pixels. It says increase the width of the browser window and confirm that the layout changes to a 2x3 grid of images, as shown in the tablet device image in figure 1 for which is a design more appropriate for the wider window. One sec. So viewing HTML files in a browser continued. HTML describes a document's content and structure, but not its appearance. That's not necessarily true, but I think it does, but doesn't go into detail. But that's what the definition says here. It says the actual appearance of the document is determined by style sheets. Which is CSS, or cascading style sheets. So creating the document head. The document head contains metadata. Metadata is the content that describes or provides information about how the document should be processed by the browser. So metadata is the content that the document head contains metadata. Metadata is the content that describes or provides information about how the document should be processed by the browser. So they have some metadata elements here. Was there something that I skipped earlier on? There was something. Let me just have a look and see what it was. Something like that. Let's just see here. That's like something from the docs that the history of HTML we did. Perhaps there wasn't, so this is the first one. So this is, they have HTML metadata elements. So for example, there's only 7 here, so they have element, head, so element head. So sorry, so this is a table, so there's 2 rows and several columns. So for the first row, it's element. For the second row, beside it is the description. So the first element is head. So the element head description contains a collection of metadata elements that describe the document or provide instructions to the browser. One sec here. So the second element is base. So base specifies the document's location for use with resolving relative hypertext links. So some of these I'm familiar with, some of them I'm not. The key point here is to understand what an element is and what these are exactly, because it's different than other programming languages. So the next element is link. The description specifies an external resource that the document is connected to. So link makes sense. Next one is meta. That's another. So the next element is meta. Description provides a generic list of metadata values such as search, keywords, viewport properties, and the file's character encoding. Oh yeah, so I remember that one. I'll remember part of this one. So that I think they may have told us two parts of this. They didn't explain what viewport properties are, but they said, so if someone's looking for your web page or something on the internet, that the keywords connected to it are the search keywords, so you can add search keywords to this, which I guess would be a long list, or could be, or a string of whatever sentences and all that. And then also it says, and the file's character encoding, so which is like, they have the UTF-8 or something like that. The next element is script. It provides programming code for programs to be run within the document. Provides programming code for programs to be run within the document. Provides programming code. The script element, and then the description of the script element provides programming code for programs to be run within the document. So that seems a little bit complicated. They're saying you can run code within a document. All this is code, so that doesn't really make sense, so I don't think we've seen an example of that yet. The element, next one is style. Defines the display styles used to render the document content. Next element is title. Stores the document's title or name, usually displayed in the browser title bar or on a browser tab. Okay, that's it for that. So setting the page title. to insert the document title directly after the opening head tag, directly after the opening angle bracket head, angle bracket tag. Insert the following title element indented to make the code easier to read. Angle bracket title, angle bracket about, curbside tie, angle bracket slash title, angle bracket. So there's no string in this. Oh, there's no string quotes, but sometimes there is, just a not in this case. So the title, was it an element they said? It's an element, so the title element is within the head. Is that also an element? It's also an element. So the title element is within the head element. Are those all the elements? It doesn't say that HTML is an element. I thought it explained something earlier on. Maybe not. So HTML is a document, it says. Head is an element, body is an element. So those tags are an element. That's helpful, I guess. And there's element attributes where we kind of discussed, which they didn't branch into yet. That's it, so they have angle bracket, exclamation, doc type space, HTML, angle bracket, new line, angle bracket, HTML, angle bracket, new line. New line, then angle bracket head, angle bracket, new line, indent, angle bracket title, angle bracket, what we said, the title name, which is about curbside tie, angle bracket, slash title, angle bracket, new line, unindent, or, well, I'm just going to say don't indent where they're just normal. So angle bracket slash head, angle bracket. So it says here adding metadata to the document. So meta element is used for general lists of metadata values. So meta is an element. It says the meta element structure is meta attributes. So, oops. Angle bracket meta space attributes space slash angle bracket. So it says character encoding is the process by which a computer converts text into a sequence of bytes and vice versa when it stores the text and when the text is read. So character encoding is the process by which a computer converts text into a sequence of bytes, vice versa, when it stores the text and when the text is read. is the case now. That always happens. Sure. Okay, so we have the next part is adding metadata to the document. So it says adding metadata to the document. Within the head element, they have angle bracket, head, angle bracket, opening and closing. So that's opening, then closing. Below they have angle bracket slash head, angle bracket. Within that they have indent, angle bracket, meta space, char set points to string UTF -8 string space slash angle bracket. New line they have, so that's the character encoding used in the document. New line they have angle bracket meta space name points to string keyword string space content points to. Then they have a string opening. Then they have several keywords such as Thai, comma, restaurant, comma, Charlotte, comma, food, string, close the string, space, slash, angle bracket. New line, then they have the title element. So title, so angle bracket, title, angle bracket, whatever the title is, space, angle bracket, slash, title, angle bracket, then the closing head element. So adding comments to your document. Sorry, did I say comments? Adding comments to your document. A comment is descriptive text that is added to the HTML file but does not appear in the browser window. So how to do the comment is open angle bracket, exclamation, hyphen, hyphen, space, comment, whatever it is, space, hyphen, hyphen, then close angle bracket. It looks like two arrows going one way with one side has exclamation, then the arrow pointing to the right. It's basically within two arrows, which is different. So this is the same as XML, I believe, or similar. It's different than other programming languages. The comments can be spread across several lines, so this can be used as a multi-comment, I guess. Multi-line comment. It is a good practice to always include a comment in the document head. So adding comments to your document. So it's just what we described, they just added a document. So they have angle bracket, exclamation, dash, dash, new line, they have a multi-line comment. And all below that they have hyphen, hyphen, angle bracket. So rating the page body. So they have something else here. They're not element attributes. Did it say body? Didn't. I'm just going back up to where they had the elements docs. The element docs here. 1 sec. So it didn't say body was a direct or like an element. But here it says. So here it says. So HTML marks the major topical areas of a page using sectioning elements, also referred to as semantic elements. So sectioning elements is equal to semantic elements. So they're the same thing. So I guess these are just different types of elements, but they're still elements. It almost seems like a hierarchy, but it doesn't say that. One sec here. Might have to do 3 parts for this, because it's almost half an hour and it's still another half to go from where we were. So basically what we're going to do here is continue with these docs. There's a lot of them. There's one there's like 9 or 10. It's not that many, but this is, for one slide, this is a lot of stuff. So after what we just said, HTML marks the major topical areas of a page using sectioning elements, also referred to as semantic elements. So HTML sectioning elements is what the table says. Same thing. There's 2 rows, element and a description. So the first element is address. Description is marks content information for an individual or group. Element, address, description, marks contact information for an individual or group. Next one, article, marks a self-contained composition in the document, such as a newspaper story. That's HTML5. So it looks like these are added to HTML5. Next element is aside, marks content that is related to a main article, so which is HTML5. So this makes more sense. I think the notes make more sense than the textbook, which is good because the textbook's not very good. So the aside element marks content that is related to a main article. So body contains the entire content of the document. The body contains the entire content of the document. So the next element is footer, contains closing content that, let's go back for a sec. So the element is body. So the description contains the entire content of the document. Next element is footer. The description contains closing content that concludes an article or section, HTML5. Next element is H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So I think those are separate. You can just... So it says marks major headings with H1 representing the heading with the highest rank, H2 representing next highest ranked heading, and so forth. Next element is header. Contains opening content that introduces an article or section, HTML5. contains opening content that introduces an article or section HTML5. So nav marks a list of hypertext or navigation links HTML5. Section marks content that shares a common theme or purpose on the page. So section, nav, header, all those are all elements. Probably just leave it there for now. We'll come back to do the third part, so the ending part 2 of module 1 slides.